Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. CTV Prince Albert's old home, the broadcast building off Central Avenue, is up for auction. The listing includes both the building itself and the neighboring parking lot. The old station sits on auction as is, including all contents except for antenna towers and communication relays. Listed as a former television studio and mixed-use complex, the building was the site of decades of Prince Albert broadcast history. Those who worked in the building say former Prime Minister John Diefenbaker was known to stop in at the station.
You'd come to the radio station and would be just like a newsman peeling off the reams of paper that had come in overnight and got his news that way in that building.
Multiple companies operated out of the building over the years, including CKBI and CTV. The Saskatchewan NDP is suggesting the province make big changes in the healthcare system through a province-wide consultation process. The opposition have launched a website where patients, families, frontline workers, and concerned citizens can share their experiences. The NDP says they plan to gather information for at least 6 months to create a report which would be used for future solutions.
We know that the stakes are very high. We know that we can't afford to continue going in the wrong direction. And so I would say that everything is on the table. And we know that the people that are out there experiencing the healthcare, accessing the healthcare system, working in the healthcare system have ideas. And that's where we want the seed of this big, bold change to come from.
Saskatchewan government says it's doing a number of things to address concerns, including adding positions in emergency rooms and even moving administrative expenses to those working on front line. Saskatoon City Council will decide whether a developer can skip the taxes to encourage construction of a new high-rise. A 14-story building is being built along Broadway Avenue, where a former grocery store used to be. The building will have commercial space on the ground floor with a parkade occupying the next 3 floors and 124 residential units taking up the rest of the building. To encourage construction, city administration is recommending council approve a 5-year tax abatement, which will save the company more than $1.6 million in taxes. Construction on the project is expected to wrap up next year. Regina police have charged a 4th person in relation to a shooting last month that injured an 11-year-old girl. Police were called to the Eastview neighborhood. 11-year-old girl was inside a home suffering from a gunshot wound. Over the last 6 weeks, an investigation led to the arrest of 3 males. On Friday, a 4th suspect was arrested and charged. 18-year-old Noah Pollock-Mayer faces charges, including conspiracy to commit murder. Pollock-Mayer appeared in provincial court this morning. The city of Saskatoon is honoring residential school survivors ahead of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. The survivors' flag was raised in Civic Square. This flag honors residential school survivors and those impacted by the residential school system. Each element of the flag was chosen by survivors from across Canada. The flag-raising ceremony also heard from community leaders and residential school survivors.
It was only in the 1970s that we began to talk about the experiences, the traumatic experiences of being institutionalized.
National Truth and Reconciliation Day is next Tuesday. All right, Jeff, it's a new week. There's no Benjamin Buttons. There's no football stuff. Let's just hear it. What's the weather?
Well, first of all, it's fall, and officially it showed up at 12:19 this afternoon. What we've got is a north-south line of some shower activity, but really starting to sort of ring itself out. And then another high-pressure ridge is building in, or at least a high-pressure area that's moving into Alberta and Saskatchewan in particular. And we are going to really feel the effects of that in terms of sunnier conditions and certainly warmer temperatures, and we'll talk about that later on.
There's a special event in Saskatoon that might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's certainly steeped in tradition. Guests gathered at the tea shop in Saskatoon's River Landing for a high tea ceremony. The shop specializes in treats and baked goods, and it's hosting high tea every Sunday for groups of 2 to 20 or more. High tea comes with lots of rules like napkin placement and breaking pastries a certain way, but the tea shop has its own modern blend.
Customers for high tea that just want to slow down and like connect and relax. So it's for all the people that just wants to chat with and connect with their friends, with their family members.
While it usually takes place on Sundays, the shop also holds high tea ceremonies for special groups like this birthday celebration. After the break, Team Saskatchewan's Chef de Mission catches up with us. He'll break down the recent Canada Summer Games and how Team Saskatchewan performed. Athletes from across Saskatchewan recently returned home from Newfoundland and Labrador, where the 2025 Canada Games were taking place. Joining me today is Chef de Mission Greg Perreault. And Greg, I'm guessing it's been a couple of days or maybe a couple of weeks now since the end of the Games, and you're probably one of those guys that had to do a lot of organizing both before and during. So how's it been just to get a little bit of rest?
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, obviously all the excitement of the games and being involved with all the competition and all the work that happens pre-games and then during. It does take a few days to kind of, readjust back to the normalcy of life. And obviously we do put in fairly long hours at the games and making sure that we have all the logistics and all the things are sorted out for our athletes and participants as they're working through their sport competitions. So it's been good to be home. We definitely enjoyed our time in Newfoundland and really enjoyed the hospitality there for sure. But yeah, it's definitely good to be back.
Does the brain kind of need a break, or does the body need a break, or both?
It's probably the body more so. It is long days, so we do have early morning chef meetings every day, and we do go into the night quite frequently with curfew and different things to make sure that everyone's abiding by the code of conduct rules. So it becomes really short in terms of sleep. So, but we know that that's what we're getting into, and so now that we're back home, it's kind of more on your normal hours for sure.
And now that you're back home, you can kind of rest and relax on the performance of all the athletes, the teams at the games. And so as I ask you that, what was the overall performance? I know over the couple of days, you'd look, and I kept looking to see who's winning, but they had it alphabetical. So I couldn't quite tell who was in the lead, but definitely there was some hardware being earned by Saskatchewan athletes.
For sure, yeah. I mean, our first week was a little bit slower. We had only a handful of medals there. But in the second 6 days, we had another 44 medals. So in total, we had 48 medals, which was our highest medal total since 2013. And that put us in 6th place overall, which put us ahead of Manitoba, which is usually one of our goals. And Nova Scotia is another province that we're usually in the hunt with as well. And they had quite a good success on the water, so they pulled ahead of us this time around. But yeah, so 48 medals, and again, having 44 of those come in right at the last minute was exciting, and it made for a really interesting second half, trying to keep up, like, as you said, with all the medals that are coming in. And our communications folks were trying to get as many medal ceremonies as possible through our channels, and so it was super exciting for sure.
And then with all of that going on, I mean, long days and exciting days and lots of pressure for athletes, coaches, everybody around. But then on top of that, there's the risk of wildfires going on. I think it was just one province over. And then there was also plenty of flight disruptions. So did that throw a little bit of a wrench into some of the plans?
Yeah, the first week for sure had some disruption in competition. Lacrosse, beach volleyball, and sailing were in the Conception Bay area, where it was really near where some of the fires were happening. And of course, they were on evacuation alert. So that made some changes, for the venues themselves. And then they were able to pivot really quickly, and most of the competition wasn't too disrupted. So that was good. But again, at the end of the day, we are there to be involved in a sport competition, but people's safety was obviously priority. And, I think the host and the surrounding communities did an amazing job to ensure that we could still participate. So that was great. The Air Canada thing was a bit disruptive, mostly for our parents and supporters, which we had a lot of them in St. John's, which was amazing to see the stands so full of green and white and yellow. So, but I know there were some that couldn't make it home and some that had to stay a little longer and some that maybe didn't get to St. John's. But for our teams, we were on charter aircraft, so we were good that way. But yeah, there's a few of those disruptions for sure that again, our athletes and coaches, we're able to just do what they do, and we're able to manage some of that stuff on the back end for them.
Well, all of that to say, what you guys are doing for athletes in Saskatchewan and what Canadian athletes are able to enjoy because of the work of people like you. Greg Perreault, the chef de mission for Team Saskatchewan, thanks again for joining us, and enjoy some much needed time off.
Thanks for having me.
When we come back, Jeff has your weather forecast, and later a historic opening weekend for the SJHL's newest franchise. All right, Jeff, coming out of the weekend, all I wanted to say was weekend, but what is the weather looking like this week?
Well, things are actually looking pretty good if you want the continuation of those summer-like temperatures, at least for a couple of days. But even then, John, temperatures are going to continue to be above seasonal for the first week of autumn. So let's take a look and see what's going on. We did have this north-south line of showers, but it's really sort of wrung itself out. The active weather is really staying down in the American Midwest and sort of the mountainous region of the basically in the central part of the United States, south of Montana and thereabouts towards Utah. Not really a big deal right now. We can tell you that we do have a lot more in the way of moisture in northern British Columbia and atmospheric river impacting, particularly north and central coastal areas, but some of that moisture making its way across the Alberta-British Columbia border. So the Intermountain West, that's the phrase I was looking for. Anyhow, let's take a look and see what we've got going on our futurecast. Well, computer modeling indicating that these pressure lines are getting a little closer together, so a bit breezier conditions on Tuesday for many parts of Saskatchewan. Certainly a lot windier in northern parts of BC and Alberta, but you can certainly see some of that moisture making its way into parts of British Columbia, and some of it slipping close. It hits the Rockies, and some of it sort of breaks up over the Rockies, but some of it does make its way into Alberta. On to our numbers here. Let's go around the Lakeland region. 7 degrees overnight for Spiritwood, 8 in the Battlefords, 2 in Candle Lake, 4 in Birch Hills, 3 in Rostern, 4 in Nipawin, and 5 in Melfort. And typically under these circumstances, those locations with temperatures dropping below 5 degrees for an overnight temperature, a risk of frost is in play. But no risk of anything except warmer than seasonal temperatures for tomorrow. 24 for Spiritwood, 27 for the Battlefords, 25 for Candle Lake and Nipawin and Melfort, 26 the expected daytime highs in Birch Hills and Rostern, and many places dealing with a lot of sunshine tomorrow. And overnight for the Prince Albert area, clear skies, the wind's backing off 2 degrees. It comes with a risk of frost, so you'd have to cover up some of those delicate things you have out in your garden if you still have flowers that are blooming and vegetables that you still want to ripen. 26 degrees tomorrow with mainly cloudy skies and a bit on the breezy side. We mentioned that earlier on. Wind gust up to 40 kilometers an hour. And now the 7-day outlook for Prince Albert, 26 degrees on Wednesday as well. So that's way above seasonal by about 8 degrees or more. 19 on Thursday with mainly sunny skies. High of 18 degrees on Friday. Mainly cloudy conditions getting into the first weekend of fall. And look at that. Temperatures in the low 20s Saturday, 22, 23 on Sunday. And 1 week from today, staying warmer than seasonal by a chunk. We've got ourselves mainly cloudy skies on Monday and 23 degrees.
And I guess you may have watched a little bit of Canada West football on the weekend, but since the Riders weren't playing, nobody bothered with that. Well, I've got some good news for you in the CFL realm. The CFL is actually moving the goalpost by making some big changes.
Our game must continue to evolve and modernize for our players, our fans, and our partners.
Over the next 2 seasons, major rule changes are being implemented. First, adjustments will be made to the Rouge, and a new 35-second play clock will begin as soon as the play is whistled dead. Benches will be forced to be on opposite sides of the field. In 2027, the goalposts will be moved from the goal line to the back of the end zone, which will also shrink from 20 to 15 yards. The field length will also go from 110 yards to 100. Commissioner Stuart Johnston says these changes are centered around entertainment and innovation. The Warman Wolverines held their inaugural home opener Friday night against the Humboldt Broncos, the franchise's first game since the Notre Dame Hounds were relocated from Wilcox. The SJHL's first new franchise in 28 years had more than 1,300 fans in attendance at the Warman Communiplex, including League Commissioner Kyle McIntyre. He says the move from Wilcox was necessary, adding it's a win for the league and for Warman. Despite lots of excitement and plenty of chances, the Wolverines were shut out 3-0, but while they didn't get the win, they say the energy in the building was special.
Yeah, I think we're all looking for it. Like, we were wanting it really bad. Sucks obviously for us, and then obviously for the fans that we couldn't do that for them tonight. But next Saturday against Kindersley, we're hoping to do that for them.
When a building's packed, it always gets the players up and fired up and try to get the rest out of them. So I thought both ways that it was a physical game at times, and there was a lot of good plays and a lot of big saves. So it was great to see the fans enjoy it.
The Wolverines got their first goal of the season on the road Saturday in a 3-1 loss to Humboldt. They're back at home Saturday against Kindersley. As usual, it came down to the final minutes on the football field to decide a winner between the Saskatchewan Huskies and Regina Rams.
Just over 3 minutes to go in the football game. Amundred back to pass, looking deep downfield for Weeb.
That was the go-ahead touchdown for the Huskies with just over 3 minutes left, and proved to be the winner for the home side at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon. This was the only meeting on the schedule between the two provincial rivals. With the win by Saskatchewan, both the Huskies and Rams are tied for first in the conference with 3 wins and 1 loss. Saskatchewan will head to Calgary on Saturday, and Regina will host Manitoba. The Saskatoon Blades and Prince Albert Raiders kicked off the WHL regular season over the weekend. On Friday in Prince Albert, the Blades took an early lead before 3 straight Raider goals. The Blades would score in the third period on a weak shot from way outside, but the Raiders added an empty netter to seal a 4-2 home win. Then on Saturday, the Blades got 2 goals from Rowan Calvert. The Raiders got 2 from Braden Dubé, forcing overtime at SaskTel Center. But it was Braden Klimke getting the rebound to get the Blades' first win of the season. Next game for both teams is Friday, the Raiders in Regina, and the Blades head to Lethbridge.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
The Trump administration will reportedly tie the use of Tylenol to the risk of autism today, going against medical guidelines. The planned announcement will connect pregnant women's use of the popular drug to autism spectrum disorder. U.S. President Donald Trump first mentioned the idea yesterday during a memorial for right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk. Current medical guidelines say Tylenol, which has the active ingredient acetaminophen, is safe to use while pregnant. Yesterday marked World Alzheimer's Day, aimed at drawing attention to the growing number of dementia cases. CTV's Camille Karamali has more on the creative ways health professionals are trying to limit memory loss.
How much is that dog? It may not look like it, but what you see here is David Estrin and his daughter Simone fighting back against dementia. How much is that dog in the window? Arf, arf. With what they enjoy most, music.
That looks like something I made.
And art.
Looks like someone I know.
I grew up singing in different places.
We've been able to take art classes together. You've been going to choir.
becoming a more common way to help people living with Alzheimer's, sparking memories and feelings.
It provides stimulation. It's really been shown to improve people's moods, help relieve stress.
During the last couple of shots
here at the Health Sciences Center in Toronto, they're learning new ways to detect and prevent Alzheimer's earlier.
The next decade is going to, I believe, see the breakthroughs in delivering treatment.
And that's good news because in the next decade, they're expecting thousands of more patients across the country.
So we're talking about staggering numbers in Canada.
Right now, there's roughly 750,000 people in Canada with dementia. That's according to the Alzheimer's Society of Canada. By 2030, that's set to increase to nearly 1 million people. And by 2050, more than 1.7 million Canadians will have dementia. But whether Canada's healthcare sector is ready is another question.
The main way to avoid this tsunami of dementia is to spend the dollars now to develop research on prevention and treatment so we don't have to treat those patients in 5, 10, 15 years.
For this father-daughter duo, they're working with what they have to keep David's mind as sharp for as long as possible.
My dad gives me hope. I mean, seeing how you're handling everything.
I do hope in hopes treatment options can catch up.
That was beautiful, Dad.
To save him.
Yeah.
Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Jeff, Saturday was a day to celebrate some of the most impactful athletes and teams in Saskatchewan history. 3 athletes were inducted back to the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame back in April, but over the weekend, they gathered with family and friends to see their names front and center in the museum's archives. In the builder category, Brad Horning and Clara Kesmarki-Miller were inducted. The 1997 and 98 Regina Rams Football Club, as well as the 1978 and 1980 Saskatoon Harmony Center women's softball teams were also inducted.
They just kind of surprise you and say, we just want to congratulate you. You've been inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. And it is amazing that you can be recognized for the sports that you play.
It means a lot. I always love coming back to Regina and to come back for this reason. It's really a special weekend for me. I grew up as a kid coming to this building, seeing guys like Gordie Howe, Mary Bonnie Baker, see their exhibits in here. And now to think that I'm going to be included in that is just a kind of a surreal thought right now.
The dinner and ceremony took place Saturday night, where the 2025 class joined the previous 554 previous inductees. So, Jeff, I don't know. What do you think? How do you decide who gets to the dinner table first on that one? Size?
Flip a coin, baby.
Championships?